data po nating mga participants. So, next, drop your questions in the chat box section. So, ito po, nag-apply po to sa ating mga Zoom participants na nakakapag-access po ng chat box po natin dito sa ating Zoom webinar chat. So, drop nyo lang po yung mga questions nyo or meron po tayong Q&A chat. So, nandyan po sa inyong mga panels ang ating Q&A. So, pwede nyo po i-drop dyan ang inyong mga questions after po ng webinar. So, this will be accommodated during the Q&A portion of the webinar. For those naman po na nasa Facebook Live viewers po natin, pwede nyo pong i-comment po sa comment section yung inyong mga questions and babasahin po natin yan para po masagot po ng ating RP na si Ms. Jimenez. Be sure to listen and take notes. In lieu of the certificates, you have to fill out the evaluation form and pass the post-webinar assessment. So, yung certificates niya naman po ay i-issuehan po kayo ng certificates once po na nakapag-accomplish and nakapag-submit na po kayo ng inyong evaluation form, and kasama po sa evaluation form natin yung ating webinar assessment, which is yung assignment and output po na hinihingi sa atin ng RP. So sa pag-accomplish naman po ng ating evaluation form po, make sure po na all data are correct, especially po sa names. Kasi doon po tayo nagkakaproblema. Kasi sa mga names po, like nag-send na po kami sa inyo ng inyong digital certificates na generated po, automated. Nagkakaroon po ng instances na binabalik niyo po yung certificates kasi may mali sa name nyo. So, yung certificate name po na nakalagay dyan, ay iyon naman po yung in-input nyo sa evaluation form. So, make sure po na tama yung names. And second one po sa ating evaluation na reminder, yung sa webinar assessment naman po. So, yung link po na ilalagay nyo doon, if nakapag-attend na po kayo ng past 2 webinars natin with Ms. Jen, yung sinasubmit po natin ay link ng Google Drive file or Google Docs file natin ng output po natin. So, make sure po na ang link po ay anyone with the link and naka-view access po para hindi na po kami mag-ask ng or mag-request ng permission po to access the file. So, yun po. So, always remember po na anyone with the link and view access po. So, digital certificates will be given within 2 to 3 weeks after this webinar. So, as long as po okay naman po yung evaluation form, and syempre mag-close po tayo niya ng the next day, 12 noon. So sa ngayon po, i-close po natin yung evaluation form po bukas, August 28, 2020 by 12 noon. So once po na-accomplish nyo na lahat ng evaluation form, so we assure you po na next week po ay mai-issue po sa inyo ang inyong certificates. So the last one po is to like our FB page, DICT Luzon Cluster 3 Sorsogon, to know more of our upcoming schedules and activities po. So hindi lang po DICT Luzon Cluster 3 Sorsogon ang nagkakandak po ng mga webinars po from DICT. So we also have DICT LC3, so Luzon Cluster 3. Check nyo lang po yung mga Facebook pages nila. We have from different provinces. From Bicol po, we have Catanduanes, Albay, Camarines Sur, Camarines Norte, Masbate, and we have also po from Mimaropa. So alam ko naman po, marami na sa inyo ay nakapag-attend ng ating mga webinars from different provinces and our cluster offices. So make sure po to like and follow our pages para po sa mga upcoming webinars po natin. So okay, mahina po ba yung audio ko? Mahina po ba yung audio? Wait lang po at i-check natin para po. Okay na po ba yung volume ng audio ko? Yung input level po, okay na po ba? Okay. So, okay naman po. So, give us po a little time to start the webinar since nagpe-prepare pa po kami for the merong konting lang po, delay lang po tayo. Pero mag-start na din po tayo in a while. Sa mga di pa po pala nakakapag-submit ng attendance po, please accomplish na po ng attendance link. Nasa chat box po natin yung link po ng attendance So, i-accomplish na po natin para po during webinar proper ay hindi na po tayo ma-estorbo in case hindi pa po tayo nakakapag-accomplish ng ating webinar. Okay, done na po sa attendance. Okay. So, antayin lang po natin ng konti. Okay. In case po may mga queries po kayo for our past webinars po, pwede nyo din po muna i-drop dito sa ating chat box or sa Q&A para po ma-address na din natin. And hindi na din po maisingit doon sa ating Q&A after po ng webinar para po yung Q&A natin ay para lang talaga sa regarding sa webinar natin today. Wait lang po, tuwan ko yung link natin. So, ayun po, binigay na po ng ating cluster office yung link ng attendance na nasa chat box po. Paki-accomplish na din po. So, nagpe-prepare lang po ang ating RT para po makapag-start na tayo. So, yun, na daw po sila sa attendance. Okay. Okay po, so, ayun, wait lang po. So, I will be introducing our resource person po for this afternoon. So, we have, she is an online copywriter specialist and content manager based in Bicol, Philippines. She has worked with several clients from the US, UK, and Australia, and the Philippines since 2008. And she is also the owner and artist of Fanitica Art, where she creates and features several mini opera, customized cards that encourages the art of letter writing. So si Miss Jen po ay siya din po yung naging resource person natin sa dalawang past webinar natin. Yung first po ay yung introduction to online copywriting, which was conducted po last August 14, 2020. And the second one po is recently lang po yung copywriting, writing web and blog content po. This last August 20, 2020. So, nandito na po si Miss Jen. So, without further ado, may I call on po Miss Jen. Wait lang po. Antayin na po natin. Miss Jen. So, thank you po sa patience and thank you po for supporting the ICT Luzon Cluster Keys webinars, especially from Sorsogon Province po. So, ayun po, nag-prepare na po si Miss Jen. So, antayin lang po natin. Okay. Saan po?
Hello? Okay. Okay na. Hello? Okay, so... Hello, okay. Good afternoon po. Ayun. Sige. Good afternoon. okay lang po kayo? Hi. Sorry po, ngayon lang po ako So anyway po, thank you for coming on this third webinar. This is the last of the series which I discussed with them and which I would be sharing with you. So for this week, we will be sharing about social media content. And so the first webinar was all about why online copywriting. What is online? It's more of the introduction. And now and then the second one was more on blogging and web content. So just a reminder, it's all about the audience. So there we learned about the content that we write is more for the audience. It's more informative pag blog. See, web content is static. There is also the tone that we need to also consider. And now we are going to have that naman sa social media content. So our objectives for this webinar is first, understand why and how we have to engage with our audiences via social media and how blogging relates to it. Now, another is differentiate the roles involved in social media management. Actually, yun yung pinakamahuna natin. Determine the social media platform we should have an account on and where we can engage more with our audience. And of course, learn how to plan and create content via social media. So a bit of disclaimer here. I place a disclaimer para ma-discuss din natin dito. Just a quick, quick view. So I said here on my disclaimer that I'm not a social media optimizer, a strategist, or a specialist. Why? Those have specific roles. Meron ding, especially nakikita niya ano yung dapat na social media. She or he knows how each of them really work, the algorithm. Meron siyang alam sa blueprint ng kada social media platforms. Strategists, they also study the insights. They know how to target they actually work with a copywriter. Minsan ang copywriter pwede na rin maging strategist, content strategist, pero ang social media strategists talaga, they go deeper. So it's not just about the content. Social media optimizer, it means they optimize the social media platform the social media page where an account is. Minsan, I believe last time there was even it's actually a part of an SEO. If you know the history, paano nagkaroon before social media, there was SEO, and social media platforms were once used for link building. So, hello? Okay, thank you. Okay, so, ulitin ko. Iba si specialist, iba si strategist, iba si social media optimizer. Although si specialist, lahat yan, sakit na niya. Marunong siya pagdating sa strategy, marunong siya sa optimization. They know the blueprint of social media platforms. That's why they're called specialists. We work hand in hand. So, yun. So anyways, continue tayo. So why content for social media is important? If you'll notice, for those who attended last webinar, halos the same lang yung why, the answer to their why. So first, it tells something about your brand. Another is it allows your brand to engage with your audience. Same actually with your content sa website and blog, especially sa blog. Another, it increases audience retention about the brand kasi mas nakikita nila. Maraming nasa social media ngayon. And it acts as, apologies for the typo, it acts as a catalyst for people to know your brand. Catalyst because, for example, you have a website, you can promote your website on your social media, nakalink lang si website ninyo or si blog site ninyo. Minsan ang content din ni blog, sinishare nyo din sa social media. So later we will discuss that more. So anyway, it's your voice, your social media accounts, it's your voice to a more targeted audience. So We have here a diagram. So only your target audience can follows you. So that is the advantage of social media. Since all of us are, halos lahat naman na meron ng Facebook account or Instagram or Twitter account. Now, the netizens are those, the online community in a social media platform. But of course, when we say netizens, net citizens, so internet citizens, they're usually online. But we're more focusing right now on those who are using social media. Now, from the netizens, there will always be a certain group called your target audience or your tribe. They have the same interests as you have. They have the same. They know something about your what you offer or your niche or your industry, and yeah, they are interested with what you offer, or they're likely to become your potential customers if you are in business. And then there's your page, and this is your social media presence. So, technically, it's your voice to more targeted audience because ang magfa-follow lang talaga sa'yo at ang makakakita mostly ng updates ninyo are those who have already liked your page or followed you, your account. Or napapansin, for example, na isang social media platform na, itong taon to, may hilig to mag-check ng mga pages na about arts, sabihin natin, or about beauty products. So, ang isa-suggest parati yan ng social media as part of their algorithm is yung mga pages related to what you usually engage on. So, mapapansin mo, may mga iba sinasabi, it's a sign. Pag nakakita sila ng um, post na parang kung ano yung hinihingi nilang sagot, yun yung dumadating, it's because yun yung usually ini-engage mo na content. So, yun din na makikita mo parati. Sige. Next. So, social media is an avenue for microblogging. It is actually a blog, but it is more mas bite-sized ang content niya. So it is also informative, it is also educational, it focuses on the issue in an industry, it also focuses on the issue faced by your target audience, it is regularly updated, and it engages more with the target audience. Kasi mas madali doon mag-comment, mag-share, mag-like, mag-message, mas madali ka nila doong ma-reach out. So, at mas madali mo din silang masasagot. So, an avenue where you get to build your relationship with your audience then. So, social media content can be one, a tip, a recommendation, a feature of a new product, a product review, a how-to, an update, an answer to a previously given question by a reader. So, technically, it's really the same as what we have discussed last week, which is on blogging. So, it can be connected to your blog site or your website. So we have here an example. It's actually what I manage right now. So yeah, yung minamanage ko na yung binigay ko. So I'm currently part of 10X Philippines. We are formerly Go Pages. We saw that there's another Go Pages. So of course, since we're starting, we went from no, and then from no pages, no source ago, no albay. Now we are 10X Philippines. So we just started. And so this is our Facebook. This is a photo of our Instagram. As you can see, may pattern ako ditong ginawa for the Instagram account. Meron din design. And it actually runs on what is the feature usually ng isang platform. Like for example, Facebook, it's for everybody. Andun na din yung mga businesses. You can post photos, you can post videos, anything in the industry. Whereas Instagram, it's more focused on photos. So, next. So I have here, hindi na naman gumagana. Wait. I have here examples. Wait. How to... Yeah, okay. So let's go to... Sorry. Facebook.com. So So this is our page. So this is our page. We have here the cover page. Ay, wag muna. Ano yung makikita nyo naman? Not now. And these are social media captions. We have here news. We have here a feature of a place. This is actually found also on our IG. I got it from the IG. We have something humorous. August na, malapit na po mag-September. We also share contents from other pages. We have this, and here. Let me share with you some examples. So we have here Eldons. We featured Eldons before. Ayan. Nakita ka rin sa inyo yung iba. Pero yung isa na nakalink doon sa presentation, it's on April Berry. It is our first time to use 10x talaga. Although we have been featuring, we have been reviewing certain cafes before. That is how, that was part of No Source One. Okay. So, pakita kasi. Not now. Okay. So, meron tayo dito. We have a review. As you can see, may format din siya. Mahaba. But you have to remember that very important yung first 160 characters. Ito yung advantage ng pag gumagamit ka ng Facebook. You can post something this long. And it is very long. Mas maganda si April Berry. So, ang engagements are those na pag may nag-react sila, nag-comment ka, na-share sila. Actually, dagdag din sa reach mo pag nag-share sila, and even pag may mga nagla-like, nag-share din ng mga shinare nila, and pati yung mga nagre-react. Hindi nga lang makikita dito, kasi dito talaga sa page mo, iba din yung pag-share nila yung sa content mo, but it goes also with your insights. Another. We also shared something from Jimenez. Very more simple COVID update. Excuse me. And this one is something humorous. It has 72 shares. May mga comment. It has 112 reactions. This is something which people from Sorsogon can relate to because nung time na pinost ko to, kakalabas ng yung kailangan ng marriage certificate. Ang pwede mo lang iangkas yung asawa mo. So, pampag-good vibes, angkas, mabuti ng sigurado. Yun lang yung caption. And then, if you'll notice, I also acknowledge kung ano yung sinabi nung mismong nag-post nito, yung kung kanino ko nakuha. But if you're going to repost a content of someone, you have to also ask their permission if it's okay for you to share it. So, this one is something funny. Taga-source ko talaga siya. And then this is another. This is it's a trivia about Sorsogon or Alice Bridge here. Nung bata ako, parating sinasabi, ay, pinangalan niya sa Tita Alice. But, yung ibang taga dito, for sure, may mga iba nagtanong dyan, saan ba galing yung pangalan na Alice Bridge? And then we shared it. Turns out, of course, this is research. This is actually a copy-pasted content, but if you notice, I acknowledge the source. So if you click here, it will go immediately to where I got the content. And so always acknowledge where you got your content, including the pictures. So we have here 83, we have 64 shares, and those are not boosted, those are not paid, those are organic. So when you use social media, there are times you have to boost a content to have it reach a lot of Facebook users. There are times you pay it as an ad, meaning they are more targeted. Meron silang specific persons talaga na nire-reach. And then this one is not, this is not boosted, this is not paid, this is organic, meaning walang binayaran whatsoever. Nagkataon na this is something that people can relate to in Sorsogon. Whether they're from Sorsogon or they originate in Sorsogon and they're now living outside, they're living in Manila or abroad. Yun. We also have this, mga quizzes. And then, yan. During the time ng quarantine to, curious lang talaga. And then the laktukay, which actually became very relational for those na mga batang naglalaro sa labas ng mga unang panahon, na pinupulot lang po ito sa tabi-tabi. Pero sa ibang bansa, mahal daw siya. I remember creating a blog content for Bicolandia before, and that was one of the comments. Yung iba, sa ibang bansa, mahal na mahal ito. Pero dito sa Pilipinas, dito sa Sorsogon, pinupulot lang daw ng mga bata before. So, yun. This is April Berry. Ayan. Mas maiksi siya. We have our 10x, since it's our 10x takeaway, of course, meron siyang format. It's a review. We give our 10 highlights. We also have this format, the name, and then what would be our tagline for it. So that's an example of 10x Sorsogon of contents. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so social media content, based on what you have seen, allows you to engage and build a relationship with your target audience. The ones that you're usually going to attract are those who are interested in what you have to share, and those are interested not just on your post. Minsan hindi din sila minsan hindi ka nila fino-follow, pero dahil may friends sila na share yung content mo, gusto nila yung post. So minsan yung post mo lang talaga yung i-follow nila, like nila, or yung magko-comment sila. But it's also a great way for you to comment back and also engage with them and say hi to them or talk to them. Okay, so how to write a social media content. Anyway, for questions, if you have questions, you can just type it sa Q&A, and then for those who are using Zoom, then later we'll just discuss it. Okay, so how to write a social media content. So for those who attended last week, we have these considerations, but you can notice a few changes on it. There are also similar tips. Remember, social media, it's more of microblogging. So first, of course, is more informative and engaging. It focuses on providing useful information. You can target its access, only your target, apologies for this, only your target can be more access or can get access to it or see it more. Yun lang yung sa social media. Well, everybody may be able to see it, pero ang pinaka mas makakakita talaga nito or pinaka mas masasuggesta ng na i-follow ka are those who are interested in what you have to offer. And usually, platforms are able to determine that by their users' behavior. Kung ano yung mga usually na tinitignan nilang content, kung ano yung mga usually na kung saan sila nag-engage, yun. So, not every visitor is an expert. Yan na naman. May mga jargons ka na hindi alam ng mga target audience mo. Actually, pwede mo yung maging content idea. So, let's say, for example, what is the Bicol word for kanin? Or what is the Bicol word for maganda? So, hindi naman lahat Bicolano na pupunta sa page mo. So, pwede mong another set of idea yun for a content. Like, magayon. It's a Bicol term meaning maganda. Ganyan. So, hashtags. It also matters. It builds your brand. And at the same time, it is also used as for Twitter, it is used to categorize your content. Let's say, for example, kakatapos lang ng It's Okay Not to Be Okay, okay drama, may mga fans na nagbibigay ng analysis because it's more on mental health. So, pag pumunta ka sa Twitter, may makakita ka na hashtag, It's Okay Not to Be Okay. Pero makikita mo yung mga analysis about the show, meron dyan about I miss Komunyong, I miss Sangte, gangte, ganon. So it's also used to categorize your content, but for some, especially for Facebook, you can use it for branding. Like you have your own hashtag. So ibig sabihin, if other people are going to use your hashtag, it means it's related to you, yung content na yon. So anybody can start their own social media page. The same way almost everyone has a social media account. Especially with phones right now, with our mobile phones, meron tayong mga app for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Everybody's already online. So almost everybody's online. So tips, know who your target audience are. Research well on the topic. Like if you noticed earlier, I shared about Alice Bridge. I have to research on that, but I have to acknowledge kung saan siya kinuha. Visit pages related to your niche. Tapos, you can also share their content from time to time, but it's more, but you should also limit it, especially kung ang gusto mo talaga is ma-focus sila sa kung ano yung kaya mo i-offer, ano yung i-offer mo sa page mo. Plan your content. It's important. Keep sentences simple. Write according to your audience's tone. So also spell acronyms and use a photo or video, and they go hand in hand with your caption. But also, please, if you're going to get images from online or from a different source, please acknowledge it. So if you have a blog or a website, you can use the content there for your social media as well. So even if you're going to curate from other sources, so let's say, for example, you have one article. And you want to promote it to your social media content. So what you can do is you highlight the important parts, either web copy or rewrite the content, make sure the thoughts is complete, of course, and then you always have to provide the link like what you saw earlier. So I just thought of this earlier and just added this one, yung scan, select, and scatter. When I say scan, you scan your content for information you want to share to your audience. You select the content that you want to share and scatter it or plan it on when are you going to post this kind of this content. You scan your content, your blog content, or anything that you have created or the article you saw. Select those important parts that you want to share, and then scatter. Plan it. Kanina ko lang siya actually na isa. Okay, so we have here an example. Meron tong link. It's actually from a blog post I made. Masishare ba natin? So anyway, it was my first time to write something like this, and I wrote this during quarantine. Kakasimula pa nun ng ECQ. Di ba hype nun ang Crash Landing on You? Actually, hype pa rin. So we have social media captions here. Are you guilty of binge watching Korean K-dramas recently? So this first example is a caption for you whenever you would want to share, let's say, the whole article, or if you want them to visit your article. So, apologies again for the typo. Sorry. So binge watching on K-dramas has become a way to distract us from all the stress. So this is actually, kinuha ko lang siya. I just selected a few lines from my original blog post and then made it into one paragraph. And then, of course, I placed on a shortened link. This is another example. I have top 5, diba? So I can just select, let's say I want to feature my second recommendation, which is, in this case, it's what's wrong with Secretary Kim. So I wrote a few information based from what I also wrote on that content. And then I said here, may call to action, CTA. Click on the link below to find out why this is one of our top 5 romantic drama recommend. So our takeaway for this one is social media content is more bite-sized information you can share with your audience. So hindi siya ganun ka-lengthy like a blog post. It's more on something that they can manage um to read, to browse. Kaya mananotice niyo if you attended last week, sabi ko you have to make it scannable. Social media actually is scannable. You just have to just browse it, check on each of the content shared there, and it's more bite-sized. So, which social media to use? Now, that is another question kasi hindi lahat ng social media platform dapat present ka. First, it takes so much of your time. Minsan, hindi naman talaga doon, wala naman talaga doon yung target audience mo. Minsan, kailangan mo naman din, pero hindi mo yun ginamit. So, it's best for you to identify which and where you can start and how you can manage it, or even, and especially if you're going to share content. So, we have here, sabi dito, where are your target audience at? So, that is the first consideration. I have an Instagram, it's penitica.art. I have a Facebook page of it and an Instagram account of it. But since it's more in calligraphy and artworks, I use Instagram more. Hindi ko na na-update si Facebook. So that's a good example of I don't really need to be on Facebook, but I can be more engaging on Instagram because most of those who are into arts are also there because they just post their artwork. Sometimes they post their videos, their how-to videos. Facebook naman, everything is almost there na. Nandun na din, meron sarili silang videos. They have their own groups na rin. They have their own parang forum na rin. They have their own pages. So, for everybody, pwede itong gamitin ng kahit na sino. If you're a business, if you're into education and you want a highlight of what your school is doing, if you're a Christian page, you can use this. It's para siyang equivalent ng nagkasarili ka ng website. If wala ka pang website, you can have a Facebook page. Pinterest naman, it's more on board pinning ideas. So, ang karamihan ng gumagamit ng Pinterest actually are women. Wala akong, ang Pinterest account ko, personally, is for, I thank you. Ang Pinterest account ko is more on, nagpipin lang ako ng ideas. I have my own board of ideas pag kailangan ko ng inspiration on what to write or even what type of lecture I'm going to do for content or ideas on how I study more sa kasi there are infographics there. It's more on images, graphics, ganon. So, ganon si Pinterest. There are some naman na if you have a blog, a friend of mine, a social media specialist friend of mine, shared this. If you have a blog, Pinterest is also a good platform to introduce or to market your blog. So anyway, so YouTube naman, for those vloggers, yung mga may, they have your video, ako personally, I don't watch television, but I check on YouTube. I check on Netflix. I check on YouTube for news din kasi andun na halos din lahat. Other than, of course, there is also Facebook. So it's more on videos. Pero kung wala ka namang channel, kasi it also takes time for you to manage a YouTube account. You have to create your content, you have to edit your content, and you have to also engage with your audience there. You have to keep it regular. So if it's not your thing and you can't manage it that well, if you can still manage it, and it's too much on your plate, focus on where you can start first and what you can manage. So another is Twitter. Twitter is, as I've said before, ang format ni Twitter is when you post a content, and it's 160 characters, okay? If you post a content on Twitter, dadaan lang yan, hindi na siya tataas pa sa newsfeed o magpapakita sa newsfeed katulad ng kay Facebook. Si Facebook kasi, the more engagement, the more siya magpapakita sa newsfeed, the more siya na isa-suggest sa iba. Si Twitter, ang makakakita ng content mo, yung nag-follow sa'yo. Kung ano man yung updates mo. And For example, nag-update ka ng 10 o'clock. Ang target audience mo nandun din sa time na 10 o'clock, then they can definitely see it. Pero if hindi sila, let's say, hindi online ang isa sa mga target audience mo during that time, it will just pass by sa newsfeed niya. Hindi na siya yung aakit pa, like even with hearts and shares. So LinkedIn is another platform, but LinkedIn is more for professional use. Para siyang online CV. So there. Remember you are speaking to your target audience whenever you use these accounts. So again, if you're going, let's say, to share content from Facebook and then Instagram, you have to acknowledge na ang Instagram is more on the photos. You can shorten whatever caption you have on Facebook to your Instagram para to give way to more hashtags. Again, di ba sabi ko, hashtags are used to categorize also a content. So, si Facebook, hindi mo naman kailangan siyang lagyan ng sandamakmak na hashtag. Minsan kahit isa lang, okay na. Si Instagram, dyan ka pwedeng kumuha ng hashtag. Kasi kahit hashtag, fina-follow ng audience. For example, gusto ng isang audience yung hashtag COVID-19. So, maghahanap siya ng COVID-19 updates or hashtag na uso si home quarantine cooking. Quarantine cooking. So, pag nag-follow siya dun sa hashtag na yun, lahat ng gumagamit ng specific hashtags na yun sa content nila, makikita niya sa newsfeed niya. So, ganun si Instagram. Kaya madami siyang hashtags na nakalagay din. So, pwede mong limitahan din yung caption mo sa Instagram. So, para si LinkedIn, of course, yung tone mo, also remember, ang target audience mo parati kay LinkedIn are other businesses or maybe employees who would want to apply sa'yo, or industries or businesses who would want to collaborate with you or get your services. So it's more professional. Compared kay Facebook or compared kay Instagram or other of these platforms. Okay. So, social media content should be placed where your audiences are. Bakit ako? Ang dami kong typo ngayon. Pasensya na po. So, how to plan? So, use a content calendar. But first, you have to ask these questions then, and you have to identify talaga kung ano ba talaga ang gagawin mo sa social media mo. Like, is your entity a business? Are you a business? Are you promoting a community? Are you a news? Are you into giving news? Are you an online publication or a magazine? Recently, I've been following T Singapore or Times Singapore sa Instagram nila kasi ang ganda ng paano sila gumagawa ng content. Nakakakuha ako ng ideas din for how to lay out pag sa mga images. Kaya if you notice kanina yung example ko for 10x na IG, doon ko actually nakuha yung iba doon. So, another is, what type of content can you share? So, are you going to give tips? Are you going to give feature articles, feature someone, feature a place? Are you going to provide news updates? Or tapos another is, when is the best day and time to share it? Yan. Then, are you promoting or are you informing? Is this content going to inform, or is this specific content that you're going to share on your account? Does it need, are you promoting, let's say, a certain offer that you have, a certain deal that you have coming up? So, you have to identify kung ano ba talaga, ano yung contents na isi-share mo, which of those contents are to inform and to promote. So, yun. And what is your specific hashtag? So, here's a sample calendar. Hindi siya yung sample calendar talaga na naka-layout na. Kasi, when you create your social media content calendar, it depends on how you lay it out or what you need to, as an information. Some of us, like me, I need to be very detailed. Mas naiintindihan ko yung ginagawa ko. Pag, kunwari, meron akong, ito yung theme ko for the day. Ito yung for Monday, like let's say motivational Monday. So ibig sabihin all about motivation yan. Ang time na ipopost ko siya is 7 kasi 7 o'clock gising din tao. Of course, what they want to see first is something that would um, inspire them or motivate them. Tapos, ano ba yung, excuse me, ano ba yung caption ko? Ano ba yung content image? Or kung ano ba yung ilalagay ko sa image na i-highlight na, let's say, a word or a verse or a quote. So yun, ganun kadetalye. Minsan may notes pa, like comments ko, na-post na ba to, na-schedule na ba to, may ganun. So here's a sample. Monday is tips, 9 a.m. Wednesday, food review, 10 a.m. I actually read this information that says the best time for you to post a food review is or feature of or an offer for a restaurant or a cafe is on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Pero that's from another country. So you have to figure out what works best for you and your target audience. So, importante, as I said before, you need to know kung taga saan ba yung mga target mo talaga. Sino, anong edad. That is where persona, if you remember the first webinar, that is where you can, that I briefly discussed there about personas. Briefly lang, hindi yung talagang detail. So, here I said food review, 10 a.m. Bakit? Kasi 10 a.m., most probably break time ng iba dyan. Tapos, syempre, pag nag-food review ka ng ganito, matatakam sila pag nakita yon. So, anong gagawin na? Pag lunchtime or before lunchtime, nag-order na yan, lalo na uso ngayon ang delivery. So, that's an idea. So, Friday's destination, I place it at 4 p.m. Bakit? Kasi every weekend, pwede silang mamasyal. Pero, wag ngayon. Inimitahan yung paglabas ngayon. So, okay. So, social media content should be planned. Why you have to know specifically kung kailan nag-online, ano ba yung nag-work for your audience. If you'll notice kanina yun sa 10X, may mga specific content ideas ako doon na walang engagement or limited lang yung engagement. Ibig sabihin, it did not work for them. Pero pagdating sa mga trivia, pagdating sa mga ang dami. I have one about SSC when I said there that it was used before, during the start of the quarantine of the ECQ. It was used as a center for a quarantine center, and everybody, it got a lot of shares. It went viral. And most of the people who are engaging on that content are graduates or students of SSC, and they were sinasabi na, I'm so proud to be part of this school. Ganun. So, that was actually a surprise for me na may ganun reactions then. But that's part of how you have to also check kung paano ba sila din nagre-react. So, kaya nung shinare ko naman kay Alice Bridge, kasi alam ko may makaka-relate doon na kanino ba galing yung name na Alice, bakit hindi na lang sinabing Sorsogon City Bridge or Magayon Bridge, bakit kailangan Alice Bridge? Then there's an explanation to it there. It's a history, and not everybody knows that. Some know that, but it's a good information for them to share then to those who might want to know it as well. So, then, social media should be planned. Also, kung anong time sila mas nag-engage sa mga ganong content. So we have here additional tips. So one is use only social media platforms where your target audiences are. Again, I think I shared this din kanina din. So hindi lahat ng social media platforms pwede mo i-share ang specific content. As a professional, of course, you should have your LinkedIn if you want to engage more in collaborations, and it acts as a guide for them to know what is your business about. But if you're going to attack, let's say, your target audience is talaga na sila yung bibili, sila talaga yung magsasabi sa inyo, ay gusto, magbibigay sa inyo ng information na ito siguro yung gusto nilang malaman about you or about ito yung mga worries nila and they need a solution for this. This is where you can help out. Then definitely, that's a different platform. Hindi siya si LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, let's say if you're a cafe and you have a LinkedIn account, ang pwede mong i-post kay LinkedIn as a professional and since your identification as a business is there, you can post how you started your cafe, what are your tips. May blog area kasi si LinkedIn. Pagdating naman, let's say kay Facebook, kung meron kang Facebook page for your business, for your cafe, i-share mo dun syempre updates, 20% discount on first dibs of our Barako coffee, ganyan. At 8 a.m., from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., ganyan. Or, minsan may mga hugot lines ka na related sa kape, something humorous. So, that's, let's say, for Facebook. Hindi siya for LinkedIn. So, iba. So, another is listen to your audience and provide the information they need. And then another is the first 160 characters matter. So, pagdating kasi sa content sa social media, just like the product description, kaya inuna natin yung sa website and blog last time, just like the 160 description there, your first characters in your social media should be 160 characters then kasi yun yung magpapakita muna, and that includes spaces. Yun yung paano mo sila mapapaklik ng see more. Let's say sa Facebook, kailangan compelling si 160 mo. Another is, kaya si Instagram then very limited. Kasi again, it's more, nag-hashtag siya. Yung iba, minsan, hashtag na lang yung content din nila. But you have to also check. Let's say, ang product review mo is, ang target audience ng kada post ng product review is about those who might be interested in visiting, let's say, Sorsogon, and you want to offer them a place where they can visit and eat. When I made Appleberry, because it was quarantine at that time, and one of the things that really got my attention with Appleberry was it has a Baguio feel to it. So if you want to experience a bit of Baguio, kaya ganun yung takeaway ko sa kanya when I wrote that review. It has a Baguio feel to it. The coffee is great. You can serve it na meron silang pot that you can serve it with different people. But of course, right now, they have it, the place is closed, but they are still serving online as an online cafe. So congratulations on that. Another na pwede, let's say, 160 characters. With 10x, I will be sharing with you the first. We have here our first big pizza, Goliath by Mikoy's. So, and they have the Cuatro Canto. It's a different take of a Cuatro Canto. It's not the usual Cuatro Canto we use. So 160 characters. The title matters. What is your takeaway on that? The title matters if you're going to do your review. What is your takeaway? That should be part of your first 160 characters. So let's say, what can make them wow over a Goliath pizza or a big pizza? Pwede sabihin natin, Goliath Pizza by Mikoy's, the first big pizza in Sorsogon province. Tapos pag na-prove mo pa na, okay, the first pala siya sa buong Bicol. So that's another, it's something that people from Sorsogon, tapos ang page pa is, i-target Sorsogon, then parang pwede siya maka-wow. Then okay, Sorsogon has this. So, yun, that's another thing with the 160 characters. So if you have questions, I think, can I ask Lai also to share yung, I read one of the assignments.
Yes, ma'am. Yes po.
Yun sa...
Okay po. I-share ko lang po yung screen ko para po mapakita yung isang output ng ating participants for our last webinar po, yung copywriting, writing web and blog content. Okay po. I'll just share my screen. Okay. Okay. So, can you see my screen na po?
Yes.
Okay. So, eto na po yung ma'am.
Yung content. Okay. So, yung mga nagsubmit po ng assignments, huwag ko kayo mag-alala, isa-isahin ko po siya. I'll be providing the insights to you. Ayun. So we have here one of the assignments from last week, and ang feature niya is about a K-drama kasi meron akong binigay ng mga topics. Pero sabi ko, if you submitted an assignment from the first webinar, then you can use whatever topic or niche that you have provided there, or your plan business or a project there. Yun ang pwede niyong gawin na topic for sharing for your content. So in this case, one of the kasi is K-drama. Kasi usong-uso ngayon. Very, madaming nakaka-relate. A friend of mine loves this show. And when I saw it, I really like how she wrote it. It's very personal. So may mga blog na personal, may mga blog din na you are writing in third person, or we, or pwede yung sabihin niya na second person, yung sa iba, you. Hindi niya sinasabi na I, walang first person, gano'n. But this one is in first person. It's a blog, it's actually a review of the drama. And if you'll notice, like can you browse pababa? Dahan lang natin. Yun. Okay. So if you'll notice, the content is using subheading, subtitles, naka mini, parang scannable siya. It's scannable. So, hindi siya in one, let's say, one paragraph, another paragraph, another paragraph. Yung iba kasi pong sulat title, tapos one paragraph, another paragraph, another paragraph. But this one gives you, this kind of format actually gives you parang, it categorizes the information. It helps people to read on specific areas na gusto nila talagang i-read. And it's very easy din sa eyes. Hindi siya yung, especially din since they will be reading from the screen. I like how it is made. Hindi nga lang ako makakomment kanina. So anyways, pwede pong pataas ng konti. Ay, pababa na lang po dun sa may picture ng may art. Yan. Thank you. Okay. So when you're doing blog content, and if you're going to use images, you should write the caption of the image. If wala kayong maisip na, let's say, something that would describe it, especially if this is something which you took online, you should acknowledge kung saan siya kinuha. Let's say, for example, this image is from the Instagram account of It's Okay Not to Be Okay. Parang ganun. Or from, I think that show is TVN drama. So yun. I like how it is written. Yung mga sumunod lang na parts, hindi na nga lang siya categorized, but I think it's because yun na yung thoughts niya talaga, yung pinaka-review niya. So, she gave the story, what is this drama about, who are the characters involved, what is the story, what is her take on the review, and then she has a reflection part. So I think we'll not share that anymore. So thank you, Lai. So if you're going to base on that content which you just saw, it's you can use it also as your content for your social media, making it bite-sized, especially since categorize siya. Let's say, for example, you have a review on this It's Okay Not to Be Okay, tapos gusto mong i-feature Meet Sancte. Yan. Tapos, ilalagay mo dun yung photo ni Sancte, then you write the caption on who is Sancte. Who is Sancte? Pwede mo nang kopyahin yung a bit of part lang ni Sancte. That's one of the content that you can have. Another is pwede mo ding i-plan kung ano ba yung thoughts or ano ba yung mga lines na lumabas dun sa show. So, that's another content on its own. So that's an example of a blog. And thank you so much for for submitting those. I will go through that then. And especially we will be giving an assignment for this one as well for you guys to try. And if you have your business, you have your own pages, and I think it would be best na kung on this assignment for this webinar, use that. Take this as an opportunity na you create your own your content for your pages. So I thank you very much for being here and for having me here po. So yun, so let's proceed now sa questions.
Okay po. So, sa mga questions niyo po, meron po tayong Q&A box or section po dito sa ating Zoom meeting. So, you can drop your questions niyo po doon sa Q&A. Well, on the Facebook Live viewers po natin, sa comment section na lang po natin ilagay and babasahin po natin sa ating resource person na si Ms. Jen. Okay po?
Okay, so ano ko na lang yung sa Q&A. Nine ko muna sa Q&A. So, Facebook without boosting your posts or paying. Okay. First question is, I would like to ask how you can reach more people on social media, especially in Facebook, without boosting your posts or paying for ads. You have to write what is your target audience what they can relate to. Yun lang talaga siya if you're going to do it organic. Hindi siya minamadali. Let's say, if you're just starting with your Facebook, don't be on a rush to have so many likes. It's better that you have a few contents first but if you want to really reach talaga your page to reach your target audiences, then that would be the time for you to have an ad, but about your page, not exactly your content. But if you really want it more organic, it's best for you to post something that they can relate to, because Facebook would usually, Facebook or even Instagram would suggest that din sa mga tao na who are interested in what you have to offer. So it takes time. So is it okay to use a video content or another person in the blog or in your page? It's okay. If, for example, you're going to use a video for Facebook, on Facebook, or let's say transfer a YouTube content to the Facebook. If it's from another person, you have to ask for permission. Yan. But let's say may mga iba kasi na hindi pa sumasagot, or if it's, let's say, something useful naman, celebrity or what, you can, it's best for you to always acknowledge. But then, I would suggest na, kasi it would also take time for you to download. I-share mo na lang din pati yung kung saan nanggaling sa YouTube, kasi they would appreciate that. Na shinare mo mismo yung channel nila. So, yun. I also use minsan may feature ako sa blog ko, yung kay Gary Valenciano, yung sa Yawi, yung take niya. So, I have it on my blog. I visited my blog. Of course, I acknowledge. And since it is from YouTube, talaga ni Sir Gary Lee. So, andun na din, whoever clicks on it may watch it on my blog, but can be led to his YouTube account. So, do criticism, hates, bashes. Okay. Do copywriters also receive criticisms, hate, bashes in creating a social media content? Okay. Have you experienced anything regarding this? Of course. I received. Here's the thing. If you're doing it for a client, there is, hindi yung name mo nga lang yung lalabas. So it is the client who, the client's name or kung ano man yung brand na yun, hindi yung name mo yung lumalabas. But if may mga nagbabash, especially social media talaga, may mga ganun talaga. So hindi naman na siya new. There will be people who might not like your content. There may be people who may like your content and what you have to share. Hindi naman lahat kaya mong i-please. But the point is, if you're going to share and you really want to have your target audience and you really want to help out, then focus on kung sino yung target audience mo. May iba nga nagsabi bakit daw dinislike yung sa mga fans, very uso yung mga ganyan. Yung sa mga, lalo na ngayon, there will be people asking, why did they dislike this content? Why did they have an angry reaction? Like last time, for me, to be honest, someone made an angry reaction. But the first thing that I thought of is, eto ba nagkamali lang ng pindot at talagang angry siya? But then, that is iba-iba. So, it's normal. But, yung name mo talaga, depende kung ang name mo talaga nandoon sa content na yon. Then, na alam nila ikaw yung sumulat. So, yun. Okay, next. Is it okay to post irrelevant topics on our page like memes, breaking news? Ay, nag-ano bigla. It's just to collect engagement and likes from the audience. Here's the thing. May mga pages talaga, hindi naman siya technically irrelevant kasi pwede ka naman mag-create ng memes if you're the type of person or if your page is more on the humorous side or you want to be more relevant and you have, let's say, a meme which is related to whatever it is that you are sharing, then go. Pwede. So may mga ganun. May mga uso ngayon na memes like yung sinusundan ibang lyrics tapos biglang ibang lyrics naman ng kanta yung susunod na mga lyrics pero konektado siya. So may mga ganun. Hindi naman siya irrelevant eh. You just have to make sure that the memes that you post, the breaking news that you post is related to what you are sharing. Let's say, for example, yung kanina na pinost ko, kasi before our name is No Sorsogon, so our tagline is, from nowhere to go, hindi mo alam kung saan ka pupunta, to knowing where you would go or know where to go. So alam mo kung saan ka pupunta. So it's more about Sorsogon. The target audiences are from Sorsogon, the locals, from visitors from Sorsogon. That's another na target audience. So anything about Sorsogon. So may mga memes ako doon. Let's say yung kay Sir Jose Marichan, it's because madaming nakaka-relate doon, kahit Sorsogenyo. Meron naman breaking news about, nakita niyo sa Masbate, because during that time, lumindol din dito. So, it's good for them to know saan ba saan ba yung talagang na-hit ng lindol, at bakit nilindol may lindol din kay Sorsogon. Kasi halos malapit lang. So, hindi naman siya irrelevant. So, yun. So, another, frequency of posting. What tips can you give? In my office, they post 30 minutes in our FB page. Is that okay, or is that too much information overload? It depends on the number of followers that you have. If you have, let's say, less pa ng 500 or 1,000, it's not advisable. It's best for you to have, let's say, 3 times a week. You can start with that. But kasi pag binobombard mo ang Facebook, I think this is more on the strategist side, but idea lang to as sa content. This is just what I know. But of course, there are people who know much better. But when it comes to posting, if hindi ka pa naman 1,000 likes on that or followers on your page, it's best to lessen up. Kasi before, nagbabago din kasi yung algorithm ni Facebook eh. But before, ang Facebook, pag for example, nag-post ka ngayon ng content at may mga likes, and then pag nag-post ka ng isang content, wala pang likes, tapos hindi siya nakahit ng likes, tapos nag-post ka na naman ng another content, yun ang may likes, hahatakin yung Facebook page mo yung ranking nung isang content mo na walang likes. So if you want that content to have more exposure or for people to know, you give it time then. So yun, you just have to know then kung ano ba yung tamang frequency then for depende sa mga followers na meron ka. So okay. Hi, is there any way to monetize content writing? I do monetize on that. I'm a copywriter. I've been doing it since 2008. You can write for clients for their web content. There's also for their blog contents, and also for their social media content. And usually the content would be rated according to number of words or per work, or you would be rated according to number of hours. So yun, you can apply, you can check out for clients. Upwork is one. Most of my clients came from LinkedIn, yung mga nakukuha ko. Yung iba nire-refer na lang ako. So yun. And then, how can we encourage students? How can we encourage students to post their stand on an issue that they are assigned with, but not their interests? How can you encourage students to post their stand on an issue? Medyo mahirap din kasi for them to post on something that they're not interested in. Ako personally, there are people who are asking me to post something on my own site, on my own page, on my own account mismo, but that's not me. So I don't post it, and that's not, yun lang. If it's an assignment though, you can ask them to use a hashtag. Sabihin mo, this is your assignment, so I will be checking on this. If you can post your, kaso yun lang din eh, um, it can actually attract people who would hate them as well. Or maybe people na, yun lang din. The question is, how can you offer help to them when it comes to pag there would be people who would be bashing what they just shared, especially if it's in public. So that's another thing. Remember that when they share something on social media, may setting yan. Pwedeng i-public, pwedeng niyang i-customize kung sino makakita. If you want them to really post it, then encourage them to just share it and customize it na ikaw lang yung makakakita. But if you're encouraging them to post it on public, then please be prepared also to help them out if it would attract attention, and it would attract people to share their content, and they would be led to be bullied online. So that's the reality. So yun. Anyways. Okay. What are your top 3 social media platforms when selling common items like bags? Bags, I'm more on Instagram right now. I have Facebook is another. Kasi andun na halos lahat. I'm not so sure with Pinterest though. But yun, so far, Facebook and Instagram. But if you're if you're into, let's say, doing videos and giving your review about the bag, kasi di ba may mga what's in your bag? Although items sa bag mo yung nire-review, pwede mo din na, I have this new bag and this is my review. Pwede. Up to you kung ano yung pinakakaya mong ma-manage or where would you want to start. Excuse me. Ay, thank you po. Okay, for online frozen food resellers, anong social media platform maganda mag-post? If sa IG, how can I be sure that they are my audience and who will buy it? Okay, if it's an IG, again, you can use hashtags there. You can just check muna, pwede mo check mo muna kung hashtag frozen goods or any about sa frozen goods yung, ano ba yung magandang hashtags na ginagamit ngayon dun sa IG. So that's one way for you to attract your target audience. I think may feature kasi sa IG na pwede mo siyang i-promote as either your personal account or your blog page or your community page. Parang community, I think. I usually use kasi personal or your professional page yun. Your professional page. So, pwede mong iset yung IG mo ng ganun. And also, if you're going to do that pala, tapos ang goods mo is just being sold here lang sa, let's say, for a certain locality, you can write din there kung ano yung location mo. Like, as I, part na din to actually, sa, pwede mong lagay siya as keyword din eh. Let's say, uh, Sorsogon frozen goods. Yep. Parang may name na, okay, sa Sorsogon lang pala to, sa Sorsogon lang yung offered niya na service. So, at least alam ng buyer na, Sorsogon, mga taga Sorsogon ang target audience nito. Ganun. Pwedeng yung mga taga Sorsogon ma-attack agad kasi minsan pag remember social media parang browser mo na rin siya. So, may time, ang ita-type lang nila sa search is Sorsogon. O minsan Sorsogon frozen goods or minsan yung hashtags. So, doon sila nagsa-search ng information. I'm not so sure regarding Hootsuite. Kasi meron din siya, I believe may mga payments din to. I used before co-schedule. Wala naman siyang actually limit. Basta ang pinaka-importante is the 160 characters if you're asking for the caption. Regarding sa limit on the scheduled mo ng content, it would always depend on the number of followers that you currently have. So if you still have, as I said, lesser followers, hindi pa naman siya 500 plus or 1,000 plus, then i-limit mo muna yung content na i-share mo. Hindi naman siya yung, wag mo siyang dadagsain ng content na let's say, 3 contents tapos walang likes. So, dun din. Kahit even if you're using the tools. Although hindi ako gumagamit kasi ng Hootsuite. What I use to do for, let's say, Facebook and Instagram, there is Creator Studios. Okay. Thank you for informing. Someone informed me. Sorry, I have read somewhere na yung angry reactor is nakakuha ng attention. That is why the audience would prefer to read your post because they want to know why people are reacting like that. Pero I think hindi rin siya applicable most of the time. True. May ganon. Sa YouTube, may nagsabi, bakit dinislike daw? Sino yung mga 75 persons na nag-dislike sa isang post na maganda naman daw yung pagka-deliver, very informative. Pero tama din sinabi niya, ang dislikes kasi para nagsisignal dun sa YouTube na wag mong wag mo siyang isa-suggest dun sa gumagamit or sa nasa YouTube. Is there a way to be a certified content writer and how is it different from... Actually, I started as an SEO copywriter, SEO content writer, and very important, SEO or the keywords that you place in your content when you're doing copywriting. It optimizes your content, but that is a different topic. But yeah, ganun siya ka-importante. Well, hindi mo pwede sabihin certified content writer. Most of the content writers should know about this, how to optimize their content as well. Pero not make it spam. Do not make it spammy. Okay. Is it okay to post memes or funny contents in school publication if it is relevant to what you are sharing? Then go. If it's a school publication, maybe you can post, let's say, about school memes. Pero syempre, I think it also depends on the school rules kasi there are times may mga schools na very strict when regarding their the content that they post kahit hindi pa yan memes. So, I would suggest if you have those planned out and if you want to post memes, because aminin na natin, everybody loves a good laugh from time to time. So, have your content planned, have it reviewed then kung sino yung mga kailangan maka-review muna. Hindi yung post na ng post. At least have it, it's also for quality checking din. So, yan. How to create catchy title. Last week po siya. Okay. Last week po siya for, I believe The ICT has uploaded a video from last week. I discussed that already with regarding how to create catchy titles for your blog posts or even for other contents, and that is also applicable for social media. If your social media actually has that kind of area, then for titles talaga. But if you're referring to my earlier example, like yung food review ko, what I did is I just focused on kung ano ba yung nire-review ko and my tagline for them. Not their tagline, my tagline, or what is my takeaway for that um, review or what I found most about them. Pero yun lang, I kept it as is na simple lang siya. Kasi syempre, social media, limited lang din yung number of characters na mas makuha ng attention. Do you run out of ideas naman to? Yes. hindi siya, hindi ko yan i-deny. May mga times talaga that you run out of ideas. I run out of ideas, especially since I've been doing this since 2008. A lot of people have this misconception na the more na write kasi copywriter kasi ng matagal na panahon, mas mabilis kang magsulat. But actually, if for example, you're writing on a specific topic for like over and over and over again, which is what happened like when we were starting with SEO copywriting, so we were just focusing on keywords. What happened was, may dumarating yung time na napakagamay mo na yung topic. Nasusulat mo na siya ng mas maikse, pero mawawalan ka na din ng ideas. So, minsan, pag ganyan, team ang magsusulat. Kaya, hindi naman ibig sabihin sa isang article, madami ang nagsulat. But rather, ikaw magsusulat ka ng isang topic, yung isa magsusulat din ng another topic, or kung ano man yung ideas na makukulit ninyo. It's also important for ideas na magbasa ka, mag-research. So, yun yung ginagawa ko kasi, aminin ko, may time talaga din talaga nawawalan ako ng idea. Is there a recorded video? Yes, there is. This is recorded. How could we make our school publication page na more engaging po? Will it be appropriate po if mag-post kami ng reviews sa mga... Okay, it's a school publication. If you're going to post reviews on your reviews of restaurants, I'm not sure that is relevant to what your school offers. But if let's say you're going to, kasi you have to define. If your school is more on, of course, it's more on learning. What are the courses in it? What are the courses offered? What are your activities? Then you can base it. You can start from there. Book reviews are good. If you're on a school publication, we have to encourage students to read and to love reading. Ang dami na masyadong online, pero when it comes to book reading, mas prefer ng iba na manood na lang ng movie kaysa sa magbasa ng libro. But if you want to give them a recommendation of a good book to read, let's say during this quarantine time, or that can help them with their study, pwede. Or even yung mga literature, it's good. Restaurants, I am not so sure that would be helpful kasi that is more of a lifestyle content. Except, let's say, for example, maybe you can feature an owner of the restaurant who was once a graduate of your school. So that is still related. Meet Miss Minchin, a graduate of this course at our school and now the owner of this restaurant. Okay, nearing 1K likes na po, likes ng publication. Then you check your insights. Why are they not engaging? Maybe it's the content. You try to approach it differently. Are you posting also images? Kasi pagdating sa social media, as I've said earlier, videos and images work hand in hand. Most of the people right now are more on image din eh. So if you want them to get attracted to your page, you check on, you can use an image or create an image that's compelling for them as well. not just the caption. Then also remember, basta yung 160 na yun na nasa una, it should be compelling. How do you manage writer's block? That's the thing, no? Kasi as a copywriter, whether you're in the mood or not, you have to write. So if there's a writer's block, I tend to read. I also watch a few videos, ganon, ideas where I can get it. Ano po ba ginagawa? Let's say kung mga technical writing, let's say terms and conditions ang susulatin ko, I check on other sites terms and conditions, how were they able to deliver it. I write an outline for that. Yun. Kasi hindi naman, in my line of work, whether you're in the mood or not talaga, you just really have to write, especially if you're beating the deadline. Tapos, another way for you to manage writer's block is free writing. It's an exercise wherein I explained this last webinar, the first webinar. There's a part of the brain, I learned this from the Orange County training. It's an online training. There's part of the brain, a logical part of the brain, which is creative, right? So free writing is an exercise wherein you don't have to listen to the logical side, but you just have to write whatever it is that's in your thought. Let's say, for example, I'm just going to write whatever it is na sasabihin ko na, okay, I'm in a webinar right now and someone asked me this question and I think it's a good question. I hope it can help them, whatever it is that I say. Tuloy-tuloy lang yan. Pero wala siyang topic. And then that's just for 5 minutes. You can set your timer on that. Pagtapos ng 5 minutes, stop. And then you can just do that again pag may writer's block. Kasi sometimes great ideas can just rush whenever during that. Minsan pag binabasa mo kung ano man yung sinulat mo, using pen and paper, of course, makakakita ka din ng isang idea for you to write. Yun. Yeah, it's okay for you to recycle a post. Let's say, for example, kasanggayahan. Since it's pandemic and it's October is coming soon, pwede mo sabihin na while we are wondering how the kasanggayahan celebration will happen during these troubled times, let's take a look back and as we reminisce the kasanggayahan events back then, or maybe let's look back at the people who has given a great impact during the previous kasanggayahan. Pwedeng ganun. Yeah, you can recycle. Can we have a review about the foods in our school canteens and school publication? Anong specific food? If you're going to feature your canteen and the food there, I think medyo nag-ano ka dito. I think pwede naman. But make sure that the food review it highlights both good and bad, but make it presentable na hindi naman siya yung kasi may iba, di ba, may na-experience ko yun nung estudyante pa ako eh. Pag magsusulat ka ng review, no filter, na magsusulat ka ng ayoko ng ganito, blah, 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 I think ganito, ganito, pero hindi mo hinighlight yung good. So, it's also good na you balance things. Or what would be your, it's, when you write a review though, there is a format, may mga advice din naman online on how should your format be pag social media. Like for example, yung 10x takeaway namin, there is the title or what is the product that you're reviewing or what food, and then what is your take on it, your highlight on it, and then your experience, and then what is your verdict, what is your recommendation, or what is your if there is problem, like for example, I like that they do that the let's say menudo was cooked like this, and I really enjoyed it having it with peas, like in green peas. Uh, but uh, I'm not a fan of raisins, ganon. I would suggest recommendation if they would serve it, if they can have it, if we can have it pre-ordered, or if we can ask for an order a day ahead so that hindi kami nauubusan, parang ganun. Do you post sensitive topics like when nung nag-trending ang Black Lives Matter and LGBTQ? What are your takes on topics like this? Wow. Opinion na. Okay. If I post personally, it's not my cup of tea. To be honest, if lalayo ako sa kung ano man yung personality ko at kung ano man yung takes ko, as I've always said, I'm not that political. But it doesn't necessarily mean I don't care about what's going on or the issues that involves. I can post, of course, but it's not on a take wherein napaka-opinionated niya, na um, ano mo yun, insensitive. But at the end of the day, since people have known me to do copywriting or to be more on, to be doing others as a certain post or a certain niche, then I would post on that niche. Hindi ako magpo-post ng malayo sa kung ano man ang ino-offer ko. Especially social media yan. So parang ang ginawa mo, nag-post ka ng irrelevant content sa mismong page mo. Parang hindi. So, yun. So, I apologize if I am not like others na rant lang ng rant sa social media. So, and I'm not gonna answer regarding what is my take because that is irrelevant to our topic right now. So, can we post literary pieces as captions for formal writings to inform and attract audiences? As a caption for formal writings, science news reviews to inform. Yes, if it is related to whatever it is that you're sharing on the side. Wait. Can you post a literary piece, poems, flash stories as a caption for formal writings? So if your question is, let's say you have a formal writing on science news and trivia, let's say it's on a blog, and you're going to share that on social media and you're going to write a caption, the point is, if you're going to post a literary piece and it's on that content and it's on that article and it is related, then do so, because caption and whatever it is that you're going to share, like the links that you're going to share, should go hand in hand. Kasi it's like you're fooling if you're like fooling people if your content, if your caption is different from what it is that you're really going to share. So, yun lang. I think I've noticed that most of the questions here, it's more on how can I attract? I understand that that is what you want, but if you're going to post, let's say, how can you know if it is related, or if you can post something which is not related to the content that you're sharing, parang ganun, or not related to what you're offering or what your page is about, just to attract people, then trust me, you're not really going to attract the right audience. You're going to attract different people who are not going to be interested in what you have to offer in the future. So yun lang yung yung masashare ko na advice din. I hope na you've learned from this webinar. May last.
Okay, ma'am. Sige po. Meron po pang questions dito. So, I will read po 3 questions. Sige po. The first one is, what can you say in using Facebook in sharing modules in teaching?
Ano yun? What can you?
What can you say in using Facebook in sharing modules in teaching by Channeling po. Miss Channeling po.
Ay, modules. If
Yes
it's
po.
modules, it's good for you to have a Facebook group. Ibig sabihin, it can be only for your students. It can be set on privacy. So, ibig sabihin, yung mga estudyante mo lang yung pwedeng makakuha nun as long as you add them to the group. Pwede din kayo doon mag-usap, mag-collaborate. Doesn't have to be open to everybody or to the whole school. It can only be offered to your students. At least they would also have the freedom to share their thoughts kasi alam nilang that is a safe place for them to share. So, yun.
Okay po. So, next question po. Would you advise to blog or post social media content in local dialects to preserve our Bicol language and culture?
Sure. If you are, let's say, from Bicol and your page is catering to Bicolanos, then go ahead. Actually, yun yung sa Sorsogon, sa 10X namin, Sorsogon, no Sorsogon. Kailangan ko lang practicein yung Bicol ko kasi iba yung Bicol pagdating sa Sorsogon. Pero nung nagstay ako sa Albay, yung Bicol sa Albay yung mas natutunan ko. Because I'm, transfer lang ako actually dito nung high school. So medyo, ano pa ako. But yeah, it's advisable actually.
Okay, sige po. So, last question na po, ma'am. So, how can we get in contact with Miss Jen in case we need advice or further guidance? So, eto na po yung promote niya na po, ma'am, yung sarili niyo kung paano kayo po ma-reach ng ating audience for today.
Nahiya ako. Paano ba?
Maybe po, ma'am, pwede niyo pong ibigay sa amin yung mga details niyo, profile niyo, then isasama na lang po namin sa pag-share ng slides niyo. Ilalagay po namin doon para po mabigyan kayo. If i-allow niyo po sa amin na i-share namin yung profile niyo, link sa profile niyo. So, ilalagay na lang po namin.
Okay.
Okay, sige po.
Yeah, i-share ko na lang siguro yung sa one is email. Kung saan ako kasi hindi ako email and then yung sa blog and then IG. Kasi yung Facebook ko, hindi ako parating nasa Facebook saturated na.
Okay po. Sige po. No problem, ma'am. So, yun po sa mga nagtatanong kung paano ma-reach si Miss Jen. So, i-share na lang po namin sa inyo yung mga links kung saan niyo po siya pwede ma-reach through email po. So, ayun. Yun na po yung last question natin na i-accommodate since masyado na tayong na-overtime, I guess. So, let's move on po sa next part po ng ating webinar, which is po yung sa ano ba to? Yung major takeaways po natin for the whole webinar po natin. So, may I call in po Miss Rina Cantero, our Provincial Officer of the ICT Sorsogon, to share with us the major takeaways po during the 3 sessions we had po. Miss Mambina po.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. It's been a very another engaging webinar, and I'm very happy to note that the very participative and they're very appreciative. Thank you din po sa lahat ng participants. So, for the last 3 webinars, we understood what copywriting is. So, alam ko na master niyo na siguro the main takeaways actually. So, ang pinaka-importante, we should be thinking of our audience. The main important word is the you. Always think of the audience, not ourselves. We write, and then we gained so many tips. Mga tips na binigay ni Miss Jen. Pwede nyo na po itong i-replay actually all our webinars at the Department of Information and Communications Technology, even sa Luzon Cluster 3 and sa Sorsogon. They're all recorded and you can view it anytime, anywhere. So please just subscribe to these Facebook pages na i-share po ni Miss Slide. And so yun, yung mga important din po na naturo, inuulit-ulit naman ni Miss Jen. So siguro po nakuha na natin what's the difference between blog contents, web contents, social media contents. Hindi na tayo mahihilo dyan. And then magiging siguro mas responsible na rin tayo ngayon sa ating postings, and meron tayong direction. We will not be posting just random articles. Siguro may direction na tayo because of the persona. We want to project a certain persona. We have our objectives kung bakit tayo nagsusulat sa social media or sa website. So yun, parang mas homogeneous na kung ano yung iaano natin, ipopost natin. And then, of course, pwede rin tayong maglagay ng iba, like mga memes, but then it should be also relevant. Meron din siyang relevance doon sa mga gusto nating iparating. So, yun, siguro, mahaba na po kasi ang ating webinar. And siguro at this point, Ms. Lidelin, I'd like to give my thanks na, as in closing na rin. I'd like to thank the whole, first our resource person, Ms. Jen Jimenez. Lagi po siyang nandito sa atin. Pag isang tawag lang, she always gives her time for the ICT. Thank you, Ms. Jen. Then also, we'd like to thank our Luzon Cluster 3 team na naka-base po sa Batangas. Actually, sila po ay nag-host nitong ating webinar. I'd like also to thank my staff, Ms. Lidelin, Itak, and my Engineer Ebuenga. Wala po siya sa pakita ka naman, Sir John. The whole Sorsogon team is composed of 3 personnel. Yun. So, siguro po, last na lang sa ating mga participants, I'd like to know what topics na gusto nyo pang matutunan. Please post or suggest topics that you'd like. Kasi po, lagi kami may mga webinars, but then we'd like to know which gaps to address. Baka meron pa topics na hindi pa namin na-cover. And sige po, please always subscribe to the ict.gov.ph na website. Doon niyo po makikita yung mga projects po ng DICT. So, Ms. Jen, thank you po ulit. Ms. Slide, thank you so much, everyone.
Yes po, ma'am. So, thank you po. So, ngayon po, let me just award this digital certificate po sa ating RT. So, virtual awarding po tayo ngayon. So, let me just read po the content of the certificate. Certificate of Commendation. This is hereby awarded to Ms. Jenny Jimenez for her valuable insights, experience, and expertise shared with the participants of the webinar entitled Copywriting, Writing for Social Media, initiated by the Department of Information and Communications Technology, Luzon Cluster 3 Sorsogon, held on August 27, 2020, signed by our Regional Director of the ICT Luzon Cluster 3, Ms. Cheryl C. Ortega. So thank you po, Ms. Jen. Thank you very much for always sharing your knowledge po and expertise with us and also with our participants. And para po sa iba pang webinars po na ikakonduct ng aming ng DICT Sorsogon and also the ICT Luzon Cluster 3 office. So you can follow them po on Facebook, DICT, Department of Information and Communications Technology, Department of Information and Communications Technology, Luzon Cluster 3, and of course po, the DICT Luzon Cluster 3, Sorsogon. And also, we are also on YouTube po. Meron po kaming YouTube channel na in-upload po namin din yung mga webinar videos po namin. So, you can check it out. DICT Luzon Cluster 3 and DICT Luzon Cluster 3 Sorsogon Field Office para po ma-access niyo ang ating mga replays po ng webinars and pag-aralan niyo po in case meron po kayong gustong malaman ulit or sakaling may nakalimutan po kayo. Siyempre, of course, alam ko naman hindi niyo yung makakalimutan since si Ms. Jen po yung ating resource person for this webinar. Siyempre, meron po tayong 3 webinar and napaka-grateful po namin. At si Ms. Jen po ay lagi kami pinagbibigyan. Thank you po, Ms. Jen. And now po, let me just share with you the evaluation form link po ng ating webinar. So, meron po yung kasamang assignment or output po na pinapagawa si Ms. Jen. So, you can just give us or provide us the link. Input the link po dyan sa may section na may assignment or output po. Link po yan ng file nyo sa Google Drive or Google Docs. So, you can share it with us kahit view access po para po ma-check ni Miss Jen and makita niya po yung works niyo, yung result po ng webinar na to. So, thank you po sa ating mga participants, Zoom participants, and Facebook Live viewers, and especially sa ating resource person for the 3 webinars natin na ginanap. So, this August po, Miss Jenny G. Jimenez. We are always grateful po na lagi namin kayong kasama for our webinar. Hopefully po, madami pa tayong i-conduct na webinar with you. Siyempre, magandang responses po natatanggap natin from our participants. So, thank you po again. Follow us po on Facebook and YouTube para po sa mga latest updates po and webinars po na ikakandak ng aming province. So, thank you po again.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you din po.